So, I had Bible study today, and we talked about a verse in the Bible, and this verse stood out to me in so many ways, and I kind of explained that. So, I'm going to read the verse, and we're going to talk about it. So, this verse is 28 of Alma 32, 28 through 39, and it says, Now we will compare the word unto a seed. Now if ye give place that a seed may be planted in your heart, behold, if it be a true seed, or a good seed, if ye do not cast it out by your unbelief, that ye will resist the Spirit of the Lord, behold, it will begin to swell within your breast. And when you feel these swelling motions, ye will begin to say within yourselves, it must needs be that this is a good seed, and that the word is good, for it beginneth to enlarge my soul. Yea, it beginneth to enlighten my understanding. Yea, it beginneth to be delicious to me. So if a seed is planted on unbelief, it will seem as though it is, it's a good seed because, it's growing and it's swelling. And that's what we talked about. We kind of talked about how, even if a seed is not a good seed, it grows and it seems as though it's, it seems normal, it seems the usual. Um, So that's when it says, now if we give this place that a seed may be planted in your heart, behold, if it be a true seed, it will continue to flourish. If it yea do not cast out, if it if ye do not cast it out by your unbelief. So if you don't give up on it and you don't toss it and throw it out because oh, it's I it's it doesn't seem like it's growing. It doesn't seem like it's bearing good fruit. It doesn't seem this way. It may not seem this way. It's not obvious that it's growing, but if you give it a little time, it may grow. You know, we are often deceived by sight. We're deceived by, oh, this may or may not be this or that. But before we give it time to actually see that it is something, we cast it out. So it's basically telling you to give it a chance. And when you feel these swelling motions, ye will begin to say within yourself, it must needs be that it is a good seed. Since I'm feeling that the presence of the seed, I'm feeling the presence, therefore, this seed is growing. Just because it looks like it isn't growing, just because, you know, it doesn't seem as though there isn't any it isn't taking effect doesn't mean that this seed is not growing. Sometimes you just gotta feel it. Just as I explained to them, I'm like, when you take in something new, you really don't go off of the taste. And this is just how it is for me. When I taste something that is really different, like my taste buds isn't used to it. I have not ever had something like this. I'm going to, when I first taste it, it's like, do I like it or do I not like it? You can't really tell if you like it because you never had it. You know, um, is it nasty? Like, if it's nasty off the rip, you're like, your body will immediately reject it. So the fact that you don't know if it's either good or it's bad because you never had it before or you never had this experience before, you don't know, it's like your judgment is kind of clouded because you never had it. So therefore, um, it's kind of hard to tell if you like it. So then you go by the feeling. Do I feel what? How is it making me feel? Oh, okay. So I'm not gonna go by the taste. Oh, it makes me feel. It makes me feel good. So I'm gonna see it as good. How does it make you? If it's bad, it's going to make you feel bad. Like I said, it'll reject. It's not more so taste. Just like one time when I tasted sushi. I didn't know if I like it. I never had it, so I ate it, and I'm just like, I didn't know if it was like kind of, I don't know if I like it or not, but my body rejected it. About 2 minutes later, I'm in the bathroom and I'm gagging and I'm puking and I'm just throwing up like I never threw up before. Like I never threw up so much. It was just so, it was the sight and the feeling was disgusting. So it's like just because you taste it and it seems okay, it may not be. So it was actually disgusting because my body immediately rejected. Sometimes we can't. Our taste buds isn't enough to tell whether something is good or bad. Um, so it beginning to enlighten my understanding. Yeah, it beginning to be delicious to me. Now behold, would not this increase your faith? I say unto you, yeah. Nevertheless, it hath not grown up to be a perfect knowledge. It wasn't completely understood right off the back. Sometimes some things just take a little bit more time. You know, the obvious isn't always obvious. But behold, as the seed swelleth and sprouteth and beginneth to grow, then you must needs say that the seed is good. For behold, it swelleth and it sprouteth and it beginneth to grow. And now, behold, will not this strengthen your faith? Would this strengthen your faith, you know, a little bit more? Just because you can't taste, just because just because of the taste or the sight, some things you see isn't as it seems. Some things you taste isn't as it tastes. It may seem delightful, but your body would tell you otherwise. So just pay more attention to your senses because your senses is more than it's giving. More than you're getting. Wouldn't you believe more onto something if it wasn't so obvious? Wouldn't it make you more curious? Wouldn't it make you more interested in what's going on? Wouldn't it enlighten you a little bit? Wouldn't you want to have more insight and get to know it a little bit more better? That's all belief is. So wouldn't this strengthen your faith? Yeah, it will strengthen your faith, for yea will say, I know that this is good, a good seed, for behold, it sprouteth and beginneth to grow. And now behold, are ye sure that this is a good seed? I say unto you, yeah. For every seed bringeth forth unto its own likeness. Every seed bringeth forth to its own likeness. Your taste is unique. You are unique. Just because something doesn't seem right for someone else doesn't mean it won't seem right for another person. Just because it tastes this way to me, just because I was so disgusted at the sushi when it was coming out, when it went in, I didn't know. I didn't know if it would taste good. When it went in, I didn't know. When I tasted it, I didn't know. But when it came out, I was disgusted. You know, and you know, that's just how it says. Um, For every seed bringeth forth its own likeness. I don't like it and it may be this way for me, but for another person it may be really good in the body. It does well for the body. They're not gagging or spitting it up. And now behold, are ye sure that this is a good seed? I say unto you. Therefore, if a seed groweth, it is good. But if it groweth not, behold, it is not good. Therefore, it is cast away. So, therefore, if a seed is good, it groweth. For if it groweth not, if it is planted and it doesn't come up, it is good. If it is planted and it does come up, it is bad. And therefore, it is cast away. It is gone. The fact that it came up out of my, out of my stomach, the fact that it didn't settle in meant that it cast away. It casted away. And now, behold, because ye have tried to experiment and planted the seed, and it swelleth and sprouteth and beginneth to grow, ye must needs know that the seed is good. So if you experiment with it, like I said, the sushi, I was experimenting with it because I never had it before. You only experiment with something you have no knowledge of. So therefore, you're trying to gain a little bit more understanding of what this is. So because you have experimented, now you know it is good. Because you have experimented with it, now you know that it is bad. And with that knowledge and with knowing what is good or bad, what shall be done, you will understand why it has been done that way. So yeah, that is a chapter that we went over, and I was just like, wow. And it really it got my attention. I'm just like, I never actually thought about it in this way. And if I have ever thought about it in this way, it brought it out to me, actually, helping me understand a little bit more of where I was coming from. Previously in my videos, I was talking about how this movie was, it was obvious. It wasn't so obvious. It basically taught me that what's obvious isn't so obvious, and it's like the fact that this verse stood out to me today. It just explains a little bit more about what I meant when I said sometimes when you say stuff, you actually don't know exactly what you're saying, but eventually God will show you, as God showed me today, exactly what I meant and how I meant it, in a whole different perspective, in a whole different light, So, yeah. So that is the word of the day, and I hope you gained a lot of experience, gained a lot of understanding out of this experience, and just, have you think about life in a whole different perspective. Sometimes as life goes on, we have to evolve, and the way to evolve is that we have to gain a little bit, we have to be open and willing to understand the world and how the world is going on differently than it was before, previously. You can't grow unless you understand what's coming out. Sometimes you have to understand this fruit. This fruit that's being that has come from this tree. You don't know the fruit, but you're eating the fruit. And then later, eventually, you'll want to know, like, why is this making me feel this way? What's in this fruit that is so good? What is it about this fruit? And eventually, the more you wonder about something, later on, the light will shine on those thoughts. The light will be revealed to you. The truth will come in all due time, even when you expect or if you don't expect it. I wasn't expecting this, but it came to me for a reason, you know, and therefore, this is, you know, that season. I just want to throw that in because it rhymed. But at the same time, it is that season. What? It's about to be springtime. Eventually, it's going to be springtime. Springtime is coming. This should be a little hint to you that it's time for fruition, you know? So, yeah. With that being said, like, comment, subscribe, be notified, share at your own free will to show you care. Bye.